Good evening, everyone. So today we're going to be talking about personal statement writing, and particularly we're going to be reviewing a personal statement sample for public health. This is for a university in the US. And so I'm just going to run you through the process of writing a personal statement and what it entails to put together a good personal statement. So remember, this is coming from the tables of Fast Hire Integrated Services. So we're a career and education brand that helps clients with services such as personal statements, CVs, um, visa applications, and what have you. So without wasting much of your time, let's go straight to it. Sorry. Sorry about that. So what I'm going to cover today is going to be in six different areas. And like I said, this is a branch, epidemiology and biostatistics is a branch of public health. So that is what we're going to be reviewing today. So first of all, what is personal statement? Personal statement is a document that helps a candidate articulate their motivation for going into a program, right? It could be a bachelor's program, a master's program, or a doctoral program. So whatever reason you have for going for a program is what you document in a personal statement. So personal statement is important because it helps you communicate your motivation to an admission committee and help them see that you're sound both academically, both financially, physically, and otherwise to go through their program. Also, it also helps them know your areas of strength and if the program is actually going to help your future career ambition. Okay, so another thing that personal statement does is personal statement helps the admission committee test your writing proficiency. So especially for students who will be coming from countries, foreign students now. So when you write your personal statement, the admission committee also uses to test your writing skills. Will you be able to communicate in their language? So depending, this is for an English speaking country. So depending on the language, when you write your statement, they use it to assess if you can communicate properly. So that is another reason for personal statement. So what to do when you want to start your personal statement? So what you do when you want to write your personal statement is to articulate your thoughts. What are the things you want to pen down in your personal statement? And you also need to do a research on the school and their program. Okay, yes, you've chosen the school, but you also need to find out what are the things about this particular program that makes it stand out for you, right? So another thing you need to um, do when writing your personal statement, do a research about the school, find out um, what their study plan is like, find out what their study plan is like. Do they have specific word counts for their program? What exactly? So this sample is for Eastern State University, right? So this is where I get to like read about the program, what do they offer, what are the highlights of this program, and so that when I'm talking about this program, I know exactly what I'm saying and I know why I'm going for this particular program because it all forms your has it all comes together to show the admission committee that you are serious about this program and their program is going to make meaning to you, right? Okay, so what to do when you want to start your personal statement. So another thing you want to do when you want to start your personal statement is to read or do a research of the school's program. So you could do something like East, okay, State University and personal statement length. So you want to check with this, you want to check, does the school have specific requirements for their personal statement or not, right? So that you don't write more than what they accept. So from here you see this is 150 to 300 words for this general. So aside this, you also have to know that some faculties, some departments have specific counts for their statements apart from the general count. So if they stated that, let's say in the course page, that okay, yours should be 500, then you should stick with that regardless of what you find out in this place. But when in the absence of that specific requirement from the department of faculty, try to always go with the general acceptable length for that particular university. So when you've done this, you get to understand what is required for that particular university. Okay, so all these things are things you have to pen down while you're doing your, as you're doing the research, you keep penning them down, you right, you keep noting them so that at the long run, you know where and how to put them together. Okay. Okay, so the next thing after that I have on my list is how to start a personal statement. So a lot of people get confused about how they should start their personal statement. What should they do? What should they not do? Well, one thing is that when people get the idea that since it's a personal statement, he has to have a lot of stories and all those things. So I'm here to tell you that personal statement is not necessarily or does not necessarily have to be stories, and you get, so if the stories are not related, if the stories don't have anything to do with what you're writing, please cut out all those fluff, right? You can just go straight to the point. You could start, so how can you start a personal statement? You could start with a story if it's relevant to the program you're going to. If you could start a personal statement with a belief, like your current position, your current motivation. You could also start it with your realization, right? You get there are these things. It doesn't have to always be the normal cliche when I was young. Okay, right? So all those things is all those things sound cliche and they are turn-offs. Be real, be open, be free. You could start about why you even love the university, right? So there are a lot of ways to start your personal statement, and I'm just going to do a recap again. You could start with a life story if it's relevant to it, if it's relevant to the program you're going through. You could start your personal statement with a belief you're holding. You could start your personal statement with a motivation that is helping you go for that program. You could start your personal statement with um, your your decision why you are attracted to the program, right? So there are others you could also start with, but these ones are usually safe. And when you get it, or once you get it, you've gotten it, right? So the next thing we're going to talk about is structure of a personal statement. So all personal statements have structure. A lot of people I know who struggle to write personal statements is because they don't know that personal statements have structure. And really, they have structure because it's from the structure you know what you're writing. Now, generally, there are things that when an admission committee is looking at your statement, they are looking out for, right? They are in a way mentally expecting you to have covered it, right? So you want to let them know those things. You want to inform them about those things. And those things are the things that make your statement stand out, make them personal, and make them what's the other word? Okay, I've forgotten that now, but you could take the other two, stand out and make them personal, make them truthful, right? Make them truthful. So here I've tried to outline a safe, I've tried to give a safe outline of what your personal statement should look like, right? It does not necessarily have to be 7 paragraphs, right? And it does not necessarily have to be step by step like I have outlined. But if you look at the outline I've given, it gives you a safe approach to write your statement. So what's the first paragraph? I said talk about your story. So this talk about your story can also be introduction, right? So it can also be introduction. So this is where you introduce, and I've given you like ways of 5 ways you could start your statement. So don't be shy when you're starting your statement. If the words don't click like you want them to click, or they don't sound crisp or polished like you want them to, just write, allow it flow. You can always come back to it, re-edit sentences or paragraphs that are incomplete or are not well constructed, right? And then you go ahead. So the next paragraph, so when you finish introducing yourself, which I said you could start by saying, okay, why you're even interested in the program, right? Or a general belief or understanding that is helping you take this career path, right? Then the next thing is you want to talk about your intellectual trajectory. So while you're talking about your intellectual trajectory, you want to show that you have the you have the intellectual capacity to excel or to progress in this program. A lot of people who come, this is for a master, so a lot of people who come for a master's usually have like a study gap. Let's say they finish school and then they had to work for like 8 years, 10 years, and what have you. And then now they want to go back to school. Now that period of time could be could be challenging for some students when they come back to the academic scene, especially when they did not really practice what they learned from their first degree, or they did not practice something similar to the master's they're going for. So your intellectual trajectory helps you project what you did in your prior academic experiences and how it aligns, or how it aligns rather, now how it aligns with what you're going for. You get that? Okay. So when you've shown that, you could also embed the skills you learned along the way, the experiences you gathered, all that forms intellectual trajectory, not just your academics. So it shows that, okay, you're ready you have the experience, you have the academic background to excel in this field. Now, the third paragraph could be why you want this degree. So now, why do you want this degree? Or why do you want to focus in this field? What would this degree help you achieve, right? So sometimes this can be here, this points can be the third paragraph, it can also be the last paragraph. It could be anywhere, but sometimes it's how the story flows that determines where these things come up, right? So after that, you could also talk about, okay, now you want the degree. Why have you chosen this university? Right? Why this university amongst every other university in the world to study for this master, so study for this program, right? So you have to tell the admission committee. Now you tell them because they need to see through that their program correctly has the modules that will satisfy your academic needs. So these are the things you talk about in your statement so that you don't run out of ideas. You don't at a point not know what to say again. So by the time you finish talking about these things, you find out that you would have created a good statement that would satisfy the number of words required for any school. If the school says they want 300 words, if they say they want 500 words, with this outline, you could always tailor your statements to any length. So your research interest, for research-based courses, your research interest, you have a research interest or area of interest, right? So you state them. If it's more than one, you state them. And you also state, okay, your prior research experiences that shows that you've gathered the necessary skills that will make you progress in your master's thesis or um, uh, doctoral thesis, you get, however it is. So you talk about that, and then why will it be a good fit for this program? So it's similar to paragraph 2 now. Yeah, but then there's always going there could be difference depending on how your juice is flowing, your creative juice is flowing. And then the last paragraph is your display intellectual curiosity. Okay, display your need for this, like show them that you really want this, or show them that you're really prepared for this. Some schools like Birmingham City University in the UK could go as far as asking you to state how you plan on funding your studies. Go ahead and show them that you're prepared to carry that financial responsibility. That could be part of the last paragraph. So aside that, right, aside those things that goes to show that goes to show um, aside just his background, right? So we're going to like look at a sample, and then really go through it and see what has been done, what has been written for you to like have an idea, and then it's also going to help us explain properly why it makes sense, and the different parts of the statements have been put together to form the statement. All right, so here it is, and I'm hoping you're seeing this. So I'm just going to zoom it a bit, and then I'm hoping this helps now. So here's the first paragraph. So a little background. This person is a dentist, right? But has also had experience working in the field, and the person has a mentor who is a public health practitioner. So by interaction, the person has gotten to understand some of the needs in the industry, and then wants to now further the studies to acquire knowledge in um, public health, especially with focus on epidemiology and biostatistics. Okay, so here starts with, so here is the first paragraph now. Here's the first paragraph, and let's see how, if you can see how this person started. Said, I grew up in a society that's given me different perspective and interest in healthcare, especially because it is multicultural. Observing the healthcare situations while still in secondary school influenced my interest in healthcare, from prevalent diseases that were affecting people in rural communities to a healthcare system that was not buoyant enough to cater for the needs of the citizens. I was convinced that becoming a health practitioner will enable me to enjoy a fulfilling career while also contributing to the betterment of my home country. Right. So hope you saw how this person started. This is not is a mix of story, the mix of her story and her current position. Okay, this is my current position, and this is what led to this position, right? It makes more sense than just coming to tell one story of when you were a kid, how everybody used to be sick around you, and you used to be compassionate. Those things are very rampant. They don't cut it anymore. So stuff like this help you stay away from the crowd that just compose anything, right? Now, another thing I want you to understand is how the second paragraph um, aligns with the first paragraph. Now, after this person has said in the first paragraph, okay, this is why I became interested, and then made that decision, right? In the second paragraph, the person is coming to tell us that in the year I took out the year now, I began my quest for a degree. Now remember, by the ending of the first paragraph, she told us why she now decided to become a health practitioner. And then starting the second paragraph, told us how she started her quest for a degree that put her in that path of actualizing her dream, right? So you see how the last sentence from the first paragraph aligns with the first sentence in the second paragraph, right? Giving the statement a flow, right? And then it makes it easy to read. Makes it easy to read. I might not have time to read through all of them, but I'm guessing you're reading through this. And then after my graduation, so I'm here now. Then after my graduation, found application for my knowledge extension, one of the recurring observation. So at this point, she's beginning to tell us, okay, what's now introduced her to public health. Remember, she was a dentist, or she studied dentistry, but now, okay, how did your knowledge or interest for public health start? And here is how she started talking about it. So you could see the progress, you could see the flow of of the statement, how it's going from one point to the other. It gives you a proper picture. So when you're writing your statement, pick a stand. It could be a story. What story changed your life or brought you to the point where you are? So when you've picked that point, what are the other things that happened before it? See how you can form, just maybe write them out as different points. And then at a point when you just write a bit about them, you see how you can now connect them together to all make sense within that normal personal statement structure that I had shown you earlier. So this is the part where she tells us, okay, how she got introduced to public health. And now the third paragraph says, more so, I have been learning under the tutelage of Dr. XXS, who is a medical consultant using aid from the UK government to improve the health situation in slums, right? So now she's beginning to tell us how um, she has had experiences in public health practices, even though she's not a specialist, but then she has that introduction, she has that exposure, right, which will go a long way, and which also helps whet her appetite for this um, area of study, you get. So it all makes sense, right? So from there, if you check the fourth paragraph, she now said, considering the challenges that I see daily, this master will place me in a better position professionally to educate my patients and also lead outreaches that will promote healthy well-being. Okay, although I didn't read that, but there's a point in her statement where she said that due to interaction with her patients, she noticed how a lot of them felt bad when they realized that most of the challenges they had could be um, could be um, could be prevented, but just because they didn't have the knowledge, right? So that was what warranted these constituting challenges that I see daily. This master will place me in a better position professionally to educate, right? So combining her knowledge in dentistry or her practice in dentistry with public health knowledge would help her achieve a whole lot in her career. So that was what she was trying to say with this paragraph. So one thing I want you to notice about this statement is how the flow is, and I'm guessing or I'm hoping that you're taking out the time to also read it. Don't look at the grammar for now, because this could also be edited or reworked to perfection in terms of grammar, punctuation, and the rest. But just understand the flow, because that is one major thing that makes your statement make sense. The flow. So a lot of people go online and just copy one thing from somewhere. And once you just read it, you know that this person just copied this thing from one place or different places. But when you write and there's a flow, right, you're confident in what you're writing, and then if the stories align. So even if you write the first one and that one does not really have a good structure, when you now sit down to start editing your work or reviewing it, you know how to like put it together that it has good flow. Also use transition words that can help your sentences in a paragraph connect so that they all make sense, right? They all make sense. So now, after she has talked about her interest in public health, she now talks about why she wants to study at the university, right? Okay, why she has made this university her choice. So when the admission committee is also reading, they are impressed. Okay, this is why this person wants to study with us. That's fine, right? So there are a lot of reasons why you could give to study in a university. It's open to you. And that's why I showed you, if you could remember, I showed you the course page initially. I showed you the course page where I was telling you that you need to know why you want to study in a particular university, right? You need to know. So you need to go through the course page properly, read through what they are offering. Is it because of their certification, because the exposure that comes? Do they have post-study internship, whatever? What is it, the location of the university? Whatever it is, whatever is motivating you, whatever is your inspiration to study at this university, let them know, right? Talk to the admission committee, tell them this is why I'm interested in your school, and this is why I'm interested in your program. Now, when you've told them why you're interested in their program, now what do you want to do with this knowledge at the end of the day? What do you want to achieve in the future? Long term, short term. So that could be a way for you to end your statement, what you want to do the short term or long term, which could form your last paragraph, right? So this is just an idea of how you can go about your statement and ensure that it makes sense. So by the time you're done covering this thing, you've written well and covered necessary areas where the admission committee will be interested to learn about you, to know about you, to know about your interest, your motivation, right? So that is what matters for this application. Any personal statement you're writing, ensure that you follow a good outline and cover the necessary information that is needed. So if you notice that from this outline I had written and the sample I just showed you, if you see that, if you notice, you see that doesn't necessarily follow everything step by step, but just having this thing at the back of your mind or noted down somewhere, right? Help you get better